Brown Shoe Fit has all types of shoes for you to excel this fall. Check out their large variety of tennis shoes and dress shoes in brands like Brooks, Hoka, Merrell, On, and many more. Browns has the local professionals to get the proper fit, aided by their high-tech foot scanner by Aetrex. Stop by Brown Shoe Fit today, just south of 66th and Q in Lincoln, or check out their options online at brownshoefitco.com.
If you're not going to Memorial Stadium for a home game and don't have any travel plans for away games, there's a great place in Omaha to catch the action, the Inner Rail Food Hall. There's plenty of space. The Backstretch Bar has amazing game specials on game days. $15 Blue Moon and Bud Light pitchers, $6 margaritas, and $6 Moscow Mules. And if you're hungry, take in some of their great options from their game day pizza specials. Do football game day right in the Inner Rail Food Hall in Exarban Village in Omaha.
If your car has sent you to the sidelines, Eustace Body Shop can help. With gold-class certified technicians, OEM parts, and free loaner cars, Eustace Body Shop is your best choice this Husker season. And with 6 locations across central and eastern Nebraska, we've got you covered, whether you're rooting at home or you're headed to Memorial Stadium. Get a free online quote at EustaceBodyShop.com, and let's get you back in the game.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket.
Okay, playing 93.7 The Ticket.
Alexa, turn down the lights.
Dimming the lights.
Alexa, order a pizza. The big one. All the toppings.
Are you sure that's a good idea?
Alexa.
That's a lot of pizza for just one man.
Alexa, just do it. Stop judging me, just do it.
As you wish.
Thanks, Alexa. You're my best friend. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland.
Strickland for 3! And you're going to go out of here as the Big 8 tournament champion.
Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Brought to you by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin.
Welcome to it. We are here on a rainy Tuesday in the capital city. A little gloomy, but that's okay. We got plenty of rays of sunshine, I should say, peeking out of our studio here on the corner of 11th and O. I'm Austin Norman, sitting by one of those, Mr. Eric Strickland. Stricky, how you doing today?
Good. Rainy day, needed to clear out. We've been blessed. We've been grateful to have all the sun that we needed. We hope you've enjoyed it. But I think sometimes you need a good cooling off, and it's glad to have it. I'm just glad it ain't snow already. So I'll take the rain.
Man, imagine if it was snow already. I can't even think about that.
Couldn't even think about it, my friend, to be honest, but all good. How are you feeling though? I mean, you're like, we've already discussed, you're close to that time. But again, some of the stuff is just going to be the waking up in the middle of the night until he gets on a program. And that's going to be the part, just making sure, because mom's going to go through a pretty rough, go at it. Especially if she goes, natural or either one, it's going to be some soreness and pain if she happens to go C-section, and, natural is going to be a healing process, and hopefully doesn't have to go through the postpartum stuff, but most wives do. And that's the part as the husband that, you're going to have to handle, and it's not easy, but, that's the sleep and, just making sure to take care of her, getting up and getting bottles ready and pumping. And are you guys gonna do natural, like
much as we can?
Yeah.
Much as we can. Yeah. Wife's been a trooper. Got to shout her out. Love her. She is amazing. She's handled the whole thing beautifully. So much grace for herself and for the process. First timers, we don't know what we're in for. Don't know what we're going through. But that's where I have to say too, big shout out to you and the rest of the Ticket family here for understanding when there are times I have to take care of her. Whenever baby boy comes, I'm just going to dip for a week. So I know I don't have to worry about anything going on here because y'all are the best. Y'all have my back. And that means the world as a first time father.
Absolutely. Well, it's jumping off. MLB playoffs 2023 is on the way. Thank you once again for joining us here on the block, as well as those who sponsor this show, to include Allo with the VIP line. The VIP line is brought to you by Allo Fiber, where they understand the importance of exceptional service with local heart, as well as our lovely friends out there on 27th and Pine Lake, the wonderful, the illustrious, the great Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. You can go out there as well. They won't be open until tomorrow, mañana, and that is okay. That is a-okay. It is a rainy day, so hopefully the sun will pop out, and the sunshine of the food will be tasty in your mouth when you go out there to have Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. Thank you, Charles, and all that you do and the wonderful support that you give to us here on the block. Again, MLB playoffs is jumping off. What else? Initially, I'll say is the unusual suspects are leading the charge in this playoffs. The Orioles obviously won the division, and which is a surprise. Most people probably didn't expect that, being that their budget is usually in the
second lowest payroll in baseball,
in
right
the
now,
bottom of the barrel.
Yeah.
And bless you. And questions come with that is what helped them to be able to get to this point. Is it the rule changes? Is it just doing a great job in their drafting and in their minor league systems? But the changes as far as not being able to shift, it helps out guys like that, teams like that don't have to overly rely on pitching in order to get it done. Pitching is still king, and we'll see those teams. So the Texas Rangers are going to face off with the Tampa Bay Rays. The Rays have been strong over the years, getting off as well to a 13-0 start, and then kind of, falling back a little bit, obviously, with situations with Wander Franco and just injuries, so forth and so on. But yet they're still in.
I'll say this about the Rays. They are the model of consistency, really, over the last, 6-7 years in baseball. It's what I want Kansas City to become. Tampa doesn't have a huge payroll. We know that story. We've done that song and dance before. But the Royals went and got their manager, Matt Quatraro, from Tampa, who, again, has been just an absolute postseason staple over the last decade or so. So I'm really hoping Kansas City starts building in that Rays-like direction. And that's a game that, first pitch is just around the corner if we haven't had it already. Randy Arozarena, breakout star in the World Series run that the Rays made, Team Mexico's star in the World Baseball Classic. His mom finally got her visa approved. So she's coming to the game today. She threw out the first pitch, the first time she's seen her son play in America. So that's an awesome story to monitor on the Tampa side.
What's crazy about this is you look on the Ranger side of things, it's a dubious distinction of them being the first team to ever make the postseason with more blown saves, 33, than saves, 30. That's kind of a number that kind of blows the mind with the bullpen just blowing it like they have been doing, and yet still finding their ways into the playoffs.
Fantastic offense down there in Texas. Corey Seager's been great. Marcus Semien, great. The Royals traded Aroldis Chapman down there. He was back to being pretty much the Aroldis Chapman that you remember, throwing gas with a wipeout slider too. In exchange, they get a lower prospect, and Cole Reagans, who was the best pitcher in the American League in the month of August, was really solid in September as well. So Texas tried to shore up that bullpen weakness, but like you said, Strick, pitching's always king, especially in the postseason. You got to get 27 outs before the other guy does. And if you can't trust your bullpen to do it with a lead, have a hard time picking you.
Absolutely. Now, let's move on to another matchup that we have as well, because we definitely want to get to our special guest today that's going to be joining us, which is Jake Eisenberg. And so the next matchup we're going to look at the let's talk about the Toronto Blue Jays and the Minnesota Twins, the 3 and the 6 seed. The Blue Jays obviously had great hopes of contending this year. Didn't fall totally off the rails, but did fall enough to find themselves just squeaking in. They've got some great difference makers, and Vlad Guerrero obviously winning the Derby. They are supposed to be the guys that were taking the ball out of the stadium, but found themselves in the 16th in the middle of things, 16th in MLB as far as home runs are concerned, but yet they're still there. The Twins, one of the things about them, and this is why this matchup is also pretty cool, is that the Twins are pretty good in there. They have a sneaky good pitching staff.
A lot of strikeouts from the Twins, who I am completely rooting against as a Royals fan. I respect the leap that their pitching made. Pablo Lopez was that dude for them, walked in wearing a Johan Santana throwback jersey today. Toronto's been a trendy pick for me recently of making deep playoff runs, but for whatever reason, it just hasn't come together. They're better than the Padres were this year, but I kind of view them as the Padres of the American League, where they'll put together a great young core, have a lot of great pieces, but for whatever reason, it just doesn't click. I'm pulling for them against the Twins. Bo Bichette is back for them, I think, officially at shortstop. That's huge. Vlad Guerrero winning the Derby, but takes a little bit of a step back. And we got to get to the emergency alert. Glad I saw that in the log. We'll have Jake Eisenberg next here on the block.
The following is a test of the emergency alert system.
Fall has arrived, and it's the perfect weather for the DIY market to listen to the game while building a deck. Deck City is a great place to start as Lincoln's local source for everything decks. Deck City has everything you need to build the deck of your dreams, from treated lumber to Westbury aluminum railings and Decorators composite decking. They offer advice from real deck professionals to give you proper guidance and to make your project go smoothly. Call them today to schedule an appointment at 402-480-6671 or go online to deckcityne.com.
The Southern Pecan Cake from Beatrice Bakery. They don't just let you call anything Southern, especially when it's baked right here in Nebraska. And there are standards you have to meet, like a rich, decadent, moist caramel cake? Check. Bursting with too many large pecans to count? Check. Big enough to share with the whole group? Check. But delicious enough that you won't want to share? A big check on that one. The Southern Pecan Cake, the newest cake to the Beatrice Bakery lineup. Try it for yourself at Beatrice Bakery. Online at BeatriceBakery.com. Welcome to our world of yum.
If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate, 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
My dream was to work in commercial banking, but it required a college degree and I didn't have one. I found out that Doane had classes for adult learners on the Lincoln campus and online. So I earned my bachelor's degree, and 5 months later, I landed my dream job. I decided to continue my education, and now I'm working on my MBA at Doane. For me, the Doane experience has been life-changing.
Drink locally and support local businesses during Lincoln's Craft Beer Week, October 2nd through the 8th. Great beer, cider, distillates, and more are made right here in Lincoln. For more info, visit lincoln.org/beer-week. Brought to you by Visit Lincoln. Remember to enjoy responsibly. It takes a great game plan to win a football game each week, and right now, it's time to plan a trip to get a new car at Mullen Motors. Just like on the football field, there's a wall of defense on the way to Mullen Motors. 48th Street is under construction from Layton all the way to Cornhusker Highway. But the lot at Mullen Motors is full of tons of great vehicles to drive home this fall for the ultimate touchdown. Mullen Motors, still open through road construction at 48th and Walker.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
Most parents have a homework schedule for the weekdays, but don't forget to cover the weekends. I'm Jenny Benson, president of the Nebraska State Education Association. A good way to avoid a problem is to set a homework schedule for the weekend. Set aside a couple hours of homework time on Saturday and help your student avoid staying up late Sunday night to finish a project. Remember, communicating with your child's teacher is vital for student success.
Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Guys, you've heard me tell you all about Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping, but it's not just me. Folks all over town are having success with the FXB program. Guys like Gary, who just finished up his own 10-week challenge.
Yeah, Mark. After having a knee replacement in March, I was looking for a way to get back into shape. The workouts are fun, the atmosphere is a total blast, and I've lost 17 pounds since starting in July.
The next Farrell's 10-week challenge begins on October 7th, and ticket listeners get $150 off enrollment. Just head to theticketfm.com. Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping at 40th and Yankee Hill and 70th and Vine.
If your car has sent you to the sidelines, Eustace Body Shop can help. With gold-class certified technicians, OEM parts, and free loaner cars, Eustace Body Shop is your best choice this Husker season. And with 6 locations across central and eastern Nebraska, we've got you covered, whether you're rooting at home or you're headed to Memorial Stadium. Get a free online quote at EustaceBodyShop.com, and let's get you back in the game.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
Most parents have a homework schedule for the weekdays, but don't forget to cover the weekends. I'm Jenny Benson, president of the Nebraska State Education Association. A good way to avoid a problem is to set a homework schedule for the weekend. Set aside a couple hours of homework time on Saturday and help your student avoid staying up late Sunday night to finish a project. Remember, communicating with your child's teacher is vital for student success.
Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
This is Brad with Midwest Bank, proudly serving our Nebraska communities for over 70 years. We're a community bank, making local decisions, supporting local organizations, and helping local businesses and farms succeed. We are dedicated to serving our clients and helping them meet their financial needs with sound, innovative banking solutions. From an array of checking and deposit accounts, cash management services, to small business, real estate, and ag lending. We're here for you. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank. Find out more at MidwestBank.com. Member FDIC.
Leaves are falling and the temperatures are cooling down. But don't put your golf clubs away. Double Eagle Golf makes golf leagues and events possible year-round. Leagues are underway with winter leagues beginning on November 27th. Check out their deals on monthly memberships and schedule your Husker watch parties, birthday or bachelor parties, corporate and team outings, or just a good old Saturday with the boys. That's all at Double Eagle Golf, inside the Kinetic Sports Complex on West O Street. Book a tee time today or learn more at Double Eagle Golf.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
That's right. We're back here on the block with you here on a Tuesday with you 2 to 4 weekdays here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. You've heard a lot of us. Another guy you heard a lot of over the summer, voice of the Kansas City Royals, Jake Eisenberg, lucky enough to join us here on the Allo VIP line, presenting you with exceptional service with local heart. Jake, I'm not going to lie, you'd be my pick for American League Rookie of the Year if you were in the running. How'd you feel your first year in the booth went? How was it?
Oh, that's very kind. No, it was a really, really fun year, and everybody here welcomed me so warmly to Kansas City and to the Royals broadcast teams on radio and TV. It was truly a dream come true. And you look at a record, and obviously it's not what you want. You want way more wins than losses, and that's unfortunately not what happened this year. But within all of those games, there are still moments to be excited about and things to enjoy. And I think we had a really good time with all 162 games that we were presented.
When you look at some of those moments, what are some of those that stand out to you, whether it's at home, on the road, player moments? What are some of those from year one in the bigs for you?
I mean, just in terms of, the main highlights from this season, I think Bobby Wood Jr. hitting a walk-off grand slam has to be pretty up there.
Mm-hmm.
That's definitely the one that I think will stick out, not just for this season, but for a very, very long time in Kansas City. I think Samad Taylor's first career game and his first hit being a walk-off hit, that was a pretty cool moment as well. I mean, there were so many walk-offs. There were a couple of walk-offs even. There were some walk-off squeeze bunts. And, Danny and I talked about a lot on the air. The squeeze is one of our favorite plays. So seeing those happen a couple of times is a lot of fun too.
Let's start with Bobby Witt Jr. You brought him up. He's, to me, the story of the Royals this year. Started off a little slow, batted ball down. It looked okay. You thought he was on the ball, just needed the luck to turn. And it did. Bobby Witt Jr., superstar, is here. What was it like going to the park and watching that guy every day?
I mean, to be honest, Austin, it was kind of similar to what we saw in Omaha in 2021, where he came up and joined the Storm Chasers. It was mid-July, and it was kind of something special and different and, dare I say, spectacular every single day at Warner Park. I mean, I remember his first or second AAA game where he hit an inside-the-park home run, and he was making diving plays at shortstop and then was beating out infield grounders to the right side for base hits. And, while it was a slow start, and in part, and Bobby wouldn't say this, but I will, I think that part of it is, due to the World Baseball Classic and a slightly different spring training than he might have been used to or might have needed in terms of the number of bats he got with Team USA versus what he would have had with the Royals in Surprise. I think once he got his feet underneath him, and I think we kind of saw it happen in late May, early June, he flipped the switch and became one of the best players in baseball down the stretch of the season.
Defensively, too, that was a big concern last year. It seemed kind of out of the blue that he had some issues. You talked about Bobby the player, especially offensively, but the work ethic that went into improving defensively, what does that say about Bobby Witt Jr. as the face of the franchise?
I think he says it a lot. And to be honest, Austin, I think there's a tendency for people to either tune out what he's saying or just kind of brush past it as player cliche speak, Nuke LaLoosh type. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, sometimes it rains. But when you hear Bobby talk about, the team or himself, which he is loath to do, he will always say it's just about getting better every day, putting the team in position to win every day. And that's something that he truly believes and truly goes after. And I think he looked at his defensive performance last season and knew that he was better than what those metrics were saying. And look, not for nothing, and here's where I'll inject some of my opinion into too. And when he was playing shortstop at the big league level last year in 2022, he was just 3 years away from fielding high school ground balls that are not coming off the bat nearly as hard and in much smaller ballparks and not nearly as much pressure. And I think, that he might have had a tendency to try to do too much and try to move a little bit too quickly. So, when you took a look literally at his glove this season, he had the word simple embroidered on the back of his glove. And I think that reminded him that he's got all the talent in the world. He doesn't need to rush. He can take it, literally one step at a time and make all of those routine plays and also the spectacular ones.
Sticking on the left side of that infield, Michael Garcia might get some down ballot AL Rookie of the Year love. He seemed like Mr. Steady, Mr. Consistent. Seemed like he, got a hit to start every game, had the long on base streak. Elite defensive third baseman playing there for the first time. What do you make of Michael Garcia's debut?
Well, I think it was nothing short of a resounding success. I think that the Royals have known what Michael Garcia is capable of for a long time. I remember hearing his name back when he was playing in Low A, Colombia a couple of years ago. Heck, even before that, when he was with the Burlington Royals before that. I can't remember exactly who it was that first mentioned his name to me, but there was some podcast that we did in Omaha, and his name got brought up as somebody to kind of keep an eye on moving forward. So I think the question was, okay, where does he fit? And we actually saw him in center field, I think, for about 10 seconds in spring training. But once he got called up to the Royals this year and became the everyday third baseman, his defensive ability was never really in question. It was just how he was going to transition to third base for a guy who played 10 games at third base in his entire minor league career. For him to come up and be arguably one of the best defensive third basemen in baseball is nothing short of incredible. And then offensively, Austin, I think you nailed it on the head. He was really steady, especially once he became entrenched in the top of the lineup. I think in part having Bobby Witt Jr. hitting behind you certainly helps. But, Alex Zumwalt raved about his backpack and how consistent it was and how that helps him stay in the zone and, really use the opposite field. We see those singles punch through the right side and those doubles punch through the right center field gap all the time. And I think if there's anything that you want a little bit more of, it's maybe a little bit more slug. And it's there because we've seen it in the minor leagues. And keep in mind, he's 23 years old. When he starts to get bigger and become more of an adult and puts on some weight and starts swinging the bat with a little bit more thump, those extra base hits, those home runs are going to come. But, as far as being a leadoff hitter goes, he is exactly what the Royals could have hoped for this year and more.
I'm glad you brought up him at the leadoff spot, Bobby Witt Jr. hitting second. The guy that puts the lineup together, Matt Quatraro, in his first year in Kansas City. What do you make of Matt Quatraro? How he handled the locker room and the clubhouse in year one, how he settled into that lineup and the job he did?
You'd be hard-pressed to find a better person for that job than Matt Quatraro. And I think it was evident by some things he said today in the if you want to call it, end-of-season press conference, and also kind of what he's been preaching since the beginning of spring training. There are a few things that stick out to me of what Matt Quatraro preaches, and one of them is how thin the margins are in Major League Baseball between winning and losing, how the smallest fundamental plays, how the situational hit here or the pitch selection there can really make a difference between winning and losing. Heck, you look at some of the playoff teams, Austin, and I'd be curious to look at their one-loss record in one-run games and two-run games. And I think what you'd see is that a lot of those teams did really, really well in close games. And the Royals were pretty good in one-run games, not as much in two-run games. If you want to look at just two examples, the Padres were awful in close games this year. The Marlins were the best team in baseball in close games this year. Which team made the playoffs? And so we saw evidence of those margins being really, really thin. And then the second thing that he consistently preached is that every day is a new day. What happened yesterday does not impact today, injuries and what have you. What happens today does not necessarily impact tomorrow. And he really preached an every day is new, every day is different, every day is a chance to win or lose or get better mentality that I think the Royals clubhouse finally took hold of in the second half of the season and used it to their advantage the rest of the way. When you are going through struggles, and even when you're not, having that mentality of every day is going to be different. Every day is a chance to win. Every day is a chance to get better. What happened yesterday doesn't impact today. They even wore shirts that said today. I think that steady presence, that even keel presence was really, really important for a Royals team that was gaining experience with every waking day.
We're chatting with voice of the Royals, Jake Eisenberg, here on our Allo VIP line. Let's talk some pitching here, Jake. The headliners coming into the year were Brady Singer. Again, another guy didn't get a lot of innings in the World Baseball Classic after a great 2022, kind of up and down in 2023. But game 162 went to the wily vet, Zach Greinke, back in Kansas City for the second year. What was that moment like, seeing Zach get the ball to start game 162 and get the ovation as he walked off?
I mean, it was chills, and I think even though Zach Greinke wasn't necessarily the Zach Greinke we saw when he won a Cy Young in 2009, he's still Zach Greinke, and there is a sense of I don't really know how to describe it, a sense of awe. I think when you are watching somebody that is going to make a speech at Cooperstown, if he decides to retire, he'll be making that speech at Cooperstown in about 5 years. If he decides to keep going, it'll be 5 years from whenever he retires. And so there is a sense of awe that you get every time he takes them out, every time he hits some new milestone, whether it's striking out a 1,000th different batter or picking up a 225th career win. And, watching that battery of Zach Greinke and Salvador Perez, two of the best players the Royals have had on their team in the last couple of decades, I would say, probably the two best players you've had on the team since George Brett retired. That's a really special thing. So seeing that moment for Greinke on Sunday and seeing the way that the Kauffman Stadium crowd embraced him and seeing the way that he acknowledged the crowd, that's something that I'll never forget. And on top of that, I think it was really cool watching him with his son during the game, kind of on that railing, just hanging out with them and soaking in that moment with them too.
That's Zach Greinke. Cole Reagans, definitely the story of the second half. J.J. Picollo, the Royals front office, target him in the Aroldis Chapman trade. They send him to Texas, get Cole Reagans back. He develops a slider. So, Jake, talk about Cole Reagans, what he did in August, but also maybe the role that Brian Sweeney and Zach Bove had in helping him get there.
Yeah, and I'm really glad you brought that up. I mean, for starters, he was nothing short of the best pitcher in the American League in August. Quite literally, he was the league's pitcher of the month. You can make an argument that he was the best pitcher in all of baseball for the duration of the month of August, and he was one of the best pitchers in baseball for the entirety of the second half of the season. And I think before you talk about the impact that Brian Sweeney and Zach Bove and Mitch Stetter and the entire pitching group had on Cole Reagans, you have to go back to J.J. Picollo and his staff targeting Aroldis Chapman as somebody that they could not only bring to Kansas City, but that they could ostensibly fix and return to the Aroldis Chapman that we've seen dominate back end of the bullpen for the last 10 years now in Major League Baseball. So identifying Chapman as somebody that you could make better, and then seeing the possibility of trading him to a contending team and getting back something that is truly valuable, first that takes ingenuity from the front office and some risk taking to be willing to put some money into Aroldis Chapman and say, hey, we think we can make him better. We know that there are some issues both on and off the field, but we're going to be able to make him better. And by the way, he was fantastic in the clubhouse here in Kansas City by all reports, and has been great in Texas by all reports as well. So credit to JJ and his staff for identifying Chapman first and foremost, then Brian Sweeney and the pitching staff for fixing Aroldis Chapman, then back to the front office for flipping Aroldis Chapman and getting Cole Reagans, a guy who had a tremendous velo bump over the course of the last offseason, despite a couple of Tommy John surgeries. And then the Royals saying, hey, we got him. We're not settling for just having him here and seeing what happens. We're going to make him better almost immediately. He had one start with the Royals, then went back to AAA, added that slider, came back up, and was absolutely filthy. So this, if you want to look at a microcosm of how the Royals are better today than they were a year ago, I think look no further than the processes that led to Chapman becoming a Royal, and then ultimately the trade that led to Cole Reagans becoming a Royal, and the processes that helped Cole Reagans become a future ace.
That's the starting rotation to look at it there. Moving to the bullpen, they're no HDH yet. I don't put that pressure on them. But John McMillan, Carlos Hernandez, James MacArthur, three guys that definitely had moments of success. Hernandez, at the trade deadline, looked like he was pitching himself into becoming quite a haul for the Royals, was up and down. But then McMillan, before he got injured, was nails. And MacArthur, I mean, that's closer material right there. Do you think the Royals bullpen can take a step forward behind those three guys next year?
I mean, to be honest, Austin, I think the bullpen has to take a step forward. And that was one of the main things that J.J. Picollo said today, that they need to get better in the bullpen. I don't think they're content with the players that they have. And to be honest, you look at the numbers and you look at the performance and you see 50 blown lead losses. And frankly, they shouldn't be. If the team is going to win, especially on the margins, it's going to be with a strong bullpen like they had in 2015 when they had HDH and they won the World Series. I think James MacArthur finished the season as strong as any pitcher in all of baseball. He was the Royals pitcher of the month for September and October and didn't allow a run from September 1st on to the rest of the season. John McMillan was great. We only saw a little bit of him before he went down with that forearm injury. So how he comes back and how he progresses, 8 outings from now, that's a bit of a question mark, but you hope that it's something that can be sustainable. As far as Carlos Hernandez, that's a really big question mark because he was fantastic up to the trade deadline. But once August 1st hit, the wheels kind of fell off the bus again. And it's, can you get a full season of what we saw from Carlos Hernandez pre-trade deadline? Because after the trade deadline, it became harder and harder to rely on him in those high leverage spots that they really wanted to rely on him in. And then, you throw in the mix of a couple other names, Steven Cruz, who in flashes looked pretty dominant. Dylan Coleman, still a question mark. He's got the stuff. Can he put it together like he did in 2022? Did he figure some things out in the back half of 2023 that he's going to be able to take into the offseason? But he's a guy that they were counting on entering this season that didn't really have the season that he was expecting. We saw Taylor Clark have spurts where he was downright unhittable and then spurts where he was very hittable, but he's a veteran presence in that bullpen. And I think one that is very important that they need to have. And so I would expect all of those pieces to be back in some form or fashion. And I would very much expect the Royals to add to that bullpen with both some veterans and some high upside minor league free agents that they think they can turn into some back end high leverage guys like they did with James MacArthur.
Last thing I got for you then, Jake. Every team deals with some health concerns and injuries throughout the course of the season. Chris Bubich was on fire through his first couple starts. He goes down. Daniel Lynch, some health issues again. And Vinny Pasquantino lost early in the season. What's the outlook for those three guys?
Yeah, I'll start specifically with the starting pitching, and I'll reference something that J.J. Picollo said today, that for the most part, there are 3 rotation spots that they've got a pretty good idea about with Jordan Lyles, Brady Singer, and Cole Reagan. After that, it's question marks. And that's, one of the unfortunate parts of injury. But in this quote-unquote evaluation season, it was the time to evaluate what Chris Bubich is able to do, what Daniel Lynch is able to do. And those two combined for only 12 starts. And Bubich looked great in his 3 starts. And Daniel Lynch looked really, really good in most of his starts, but looked shaky in others. But unfortunately, there's not a very big body of work there for you to be able to say, yeah, we're putting their name in the rotation in 10. So they're going to have to compete for a spot. We'll see Chris Bubich back hopefully sooner rather than later. It depends on when he comes back fully from Tommy John surgery. We'll see Daniel Lynch hopefully fully healthy in spring training. And I still think the world of Daniel Lynch as both a pitcher and as a person. I think he's got a tremendous ceiling with the stuff that he has. And if he puts it together, I think that could be a big, big benefit to the Royals starting rotation. But then you also think about Alec Marsh and Angel Serpa and Jonathan Bolin and Anthony Veneziano. And I think the Royals have some really interesting options when it comes to the rotation. As far as Vinny Pasquantino is concerned, fully expecting to be healthy at the start of spring training, fully expecting to be right back where he left off as a dynamic and major offensive force in the middle of the Royals lineup, playing an increasingly better first base. I think his improvements defensively were kind of underrated this year because it wasn't a big part of the story with Vinny's play, but he did make strides defensively. And I think offensively, the Royals really, really miss having his bat in the middle of the lineup.
It's Jake Eisenberg, voice of the Kansas City Royals, with us here on our Allo VIP line. Jake, your Maryland Terrapins do play in Lincoln, so if you want to make a visit, there's a spot for you here at 93.7 The Ticket.
I very well may take you up on that. I got to check out the calendar, but I still have not been to a game at Memorial Stadium, despite having lived in Omaha for 2 years. That's the one box I didn't check. So once the Terps come to town, if I can make that happen, I think that's gonna be something I do.
Excellent. We'll see if we can make that happen. Thanks for the time, Jake. Really appreciate it.
Of course, Austin. Thanks so much.
There he is, Jake Eisenberg, again, the voice of the Kansas City Royals with us on our Allo VIP line. Allo Fiber, bringing you exceptional service with local heart. 56 and 106. It's kind of hard to spin that streak. 106 losses is a lot, but I appreciate Jake's insight. I mean, his first year on the call, I think the first year the Tickets had baseball, the team didn't make the playoffs. Can't pin that on Jake necessarily, but as a Royals fan, I'm still excited for the future. I'm not beaten down. Maybe I should be, but here I am.
I mean, there's been other teams that have had that type of a season, the year before. Who was
like
it
the
last
Orioles,
year?
who lost 100 games in 2018,
like
I think.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's teams that have done, even the Rangers last year, in 2021, 102 loss.
Yeah.
And so it can be done. Again, you've got to, if your budget's going to be low, you've got to figure it out how to make the right trades, how to acquire the right assets, how to use your minor league system. And you just got to hit. You've got to hit on some of those marks in order for it to happen.
If you want to go back and play, I would gladly offer your services up to the Royals to hit some dingers. I saw that BP strike. You still got it.
I mean, I can still, but 100 something games. No, what is it? 180 games?
162.
160. Yeah, that everyday action.
You can play every other day. That's 81. That's an NBA season.
I could that DH action.
Ooh, there you go.
That would be something that might be that Big Poppy action.
Here's the thing. You can DH, so you're not playing every day. You can platoon.
I can still run though.
Stolen bases at
I don't know.
A new high. It's tricky. I'm just
would
saying.
That would be like a freaking, that had to be a record. Because Ricky Henderson was probably the oldest to do it.
Ricky. Yeah, Ricky probably.
Probably in his 40s.
Yeah. Straight, go be an MLB record holder.
And then
for the Kansas City Royals.
If they threw twice over, I'm out.
You're going. You going.
What a day. What a day.
Awesome.
Well, great stuff, man. That's great insight from Mr. Eisenberg there. Hopefully you can get out here to see a game at Memorial Stadium, and hopefully we'll be able to put a good product on for him against the Terrapins.
That's the hope. November 11th, they'll see if we can get Jake out here for that. We'll step aside, wrap up Hour 1 of On the Block in just a sec.
It takes a great game plan to win a football game each week, and right now, it's time to plan a trip to get a new car at Mullen Motors. Just like on the football field, there's a wall of defense on the way to Mullen Motors. 48th Street is under construction from Layton all the way to Cornhusker Highway. But the lot at Mullen Motors is full of tons of great vehicles to drive home this fall for the ultimate touchdown. Mullen Motors, still open through road construction at 48th and Walker.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
The Southern Pecan Cake from Beatrice Bakery. They don't just let you call anything Southern, especially when it's baked right here in Nebraska. There are standards you have to meet, like a rich, decadent, moist caramel cake? Check. Bursting with too many large pecans to count? Check. Big enough to share with the whole group? Check. But delicious enough that you won't want to share? A big check on that one. The Southern Pecan Cake, the newest cake to the Beatrice Bakery lineup. Try it for yourself at Beatrice Bakery. Online at BeatriceBakery.com. Welcome to our world of yum.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric is the call I make when I have a need for plumbing services. Whether it's for my home or office, if I need a repair to a water heater, softener, or even my garbage disposal, I know I can count on Action to help. In one simple call, their amazing customer service team promptly schedules a service call, often getting to my needs within a day. Action delivers honest quality services we can count on. To learn more, visit actionlincoln.com.
Brown Shoe Fit has all types of shoes for you to excel this fall. Check out their large variety of tennis shoes and dress shoes in brands like Brooks, Hoka, Merrill, On, and many more. Browns has the local professionals to get the proper fit, aided by their high-tech foot scanner by Atrex. Stop by Brown Shoe Fit today, just south of 66th and Q in Lincoln, or check out their options online at brownshoefitco.com.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at DanaTrucking.com.
Hi everyone, Kendall Warnock with A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. If you're looking for an automotive repair facility you can genuinely trust, we would be grateful for the opportunity to earn your business repairing your vehicle. We have ASE master technicians and qualified to work on a variety of vehicles from Hondas to Porsches, Jaguars to Toyotas, and Chevrolets to Fords. We pride ourselves on customer service and relationships, and we would be grateful for the opportunity to serve you. Give us a call at 402-477-4660. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
Attention all Wings fans. 89-cent wings are back on Tuesdays at Buffalo Wings and Rings in Lincoln. Enjoy the best wings in town for boneless or traditional at a price that makes the whole family happy. And now at the Williamsburg Village Wings and Rings, you can enjoy $1.50 tall boys in Bud Light, Coors Light, Busch Light, and Michelob Ultra every day after 7 p.m. and all day on Sundays. Get to Wings and Rings today and make sure to stop by on Tuesdays for 89-cent wings.
My dream was to work in commercial banking, but it required a college degree and I didn't have one. I found out that Doane had classes for adult learners on the Lincoln campus and online. So I earned my bachelor's degree, and 5 months later, I landed my dream job. I decided to continue my education, and now I'm working on my MBA at Doane. For me, the Doane experience has been life-changing.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
Most parents have a homework schedule for the weekdays, but don't forget to cover the weekends. I'm Jenny Benson, president of the Nebraska State Education Association. A good way to avoid a problem is to set a homework schedule for the weekend. Set aside a couple hours of homework time on Saturday and help your student avoid staying up late Sunday night to finish a project. Remember, communicating with your child's teacher is vital for student success.
Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Fall has arrived, and it's the perfect weather for the DIY market to listen to the game while building a deck. Deck City is a great place to start as Lincoln's local source for everything decks. Deck City has everything you need to build the deck of your dreams, from treated lumber to Westbury aluminum railings and Decorators composite decking. They offer advice from real deck professionals to give you proper guidance and to make your project go smoothly. Call them today to schedule an appointment at 402-480-6671 or go online to deckcityne.com.
This is Bud Seinhorst, President and CEO of LIBA, the Lincoln Independent Business Association. Join us every Saturday from 9 to 10 a.m. on 93.7 The Ticket for the LIBA Business Hour, as we discuss local business and highlight those who are thriving in the Lincoln area. It's the LIBA Business Hour, Saturdays from 9 to 10 a.m. on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Wrapping up hour one here on the block, Austin Norman and Eric Strickland with you. Talking a lot of Huskers, talking some football in hour number 2 of the show. But Strick, we got TV assignments and TV times for some of Nebraska basketball's games. A lot of them on Big Ten Network. I think you have 1 or 2 on FS1. But 3 games on Peacock, the streaming service.
Wow.
Not simulcasting on NBC as far as I know, but just on Peacock. The first of those will be against Oregon State, that game taking place up in Sioux Falls. Then after that, you have the home game with Purdue and the home game with Ohio State airing on Peacock. As I look up and down the schedule,
ESPN Plus too. That means that's going to be a block off. That's the Kansas. That's a big game.
That's right.
Yeah, unless you have ESPN Plus, you're not going to get to watch that.
I'm glad you brought that game up because to me, Strick, it falls in the most interesting stretch of the season for Nebraska. Really that 5-week stretch from November 22nd through December 17th. You have Duquesne, who won the CBI last year, CIT, one of those last year. Cal State Fullerton, who's a fringe Big West contender for the NCAA tournament every year. You get Creighton at home, at Minnesota, who beat you in the Big Ten tournament last year. You get Michigan State at home just a few days after Minnesota. You have that road game then at Kansas State. That, to me, is the defining stretch of the season for this Husker basketball team. The best competition, but really the chance to make a statement.
Well, yeah, it's going to tell a whole bunch. I mean, the beautiful thing is their scheduling sets them up to be able to get good seasoning.
Mm-hmm.
To be able to get in the mix, to get a good feeling. You're at home, you're comfortable, you're not having to hit the road. You're able to get through that stretch, obviously through outside of going to a neutral site against Oregon State.
Mm-hmm.
You're pretty much going to be home through Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And I mean, to me, that's great scheduling, especially if you're trying to turn the tide on your program. If you can run the table on that schedule to include beating Oregon State, coming in, fighting against, a tough stretch that you just spoke about. And if you can get through it with maybe only 2 losses, I think you should feel good about the way that things are going for you. How you lost in North Dakota's not going to be easy. They'll fight
like they did last time they came here.
And then so you've got recovery games to continue to put you off. I mean, you literally can put yourself in, a playoff, kind of contention if you are able to take care of home in the Big Ten and put yourself in that, get out of that first day, you give yourself a shot to get back into the tournament.
Then you just have to win 1 game, really, the Big Ten tournament, maybe 2. And I'm glad you said protect home. That's another thing that stood out to me, Strick, here as we end hour 1. Nebraska's longest road trip is 2 games. You're not away from home for, a whole week or a couple weeks at a time. You'll play a couple road games at Iowa and Rutgers before you come home for 2. You jump all the way out to Maryland, but you come home for Wisconsin. Then you have 2, just a really short road trip, Illinois and Northwestern. You play on the road in the same week, but then you have back-to-back home games after that, alternate home and road to end out the regular season. There's a lot of opportunities for Nebraska to protect that home floor, steal a win or 2 on the road in conference play, and you're in position.
I mean, I again, and I hate to do this because some people will think you're thinking the same way. The Nebraska football schedule was very favorable to them to get into
a bowl game.
This schedule is very favorable to Nebraska to get back into. I'm just, we haven't done nothing. Yeah, they're 500. That's your baseline now. Let's go. Let's stop playing around. That should be your baseline, especially with a good strength of your returning guys. You've got more depth at the forward position that you probably didn't think you had. There's some new faces there. You're a scrappy team. Some guys had some great success in the exhibitions stuff overseas. I'm not going to get too deep in it, but teams like Northwestern lost people. Especially where success is in the Big Ten, I think, is in the guard position.
Oh, absolutely.
And they had strong guards. They're going to lose that. Wisconsin should be stronger with their guard play. I mean, they're very methodical. They're not going to do anything sexy. We're yet to see what Ohio State's going to do. Rutgers is always going to fight. Iowa's lost a lot. They've lost a lot. Purdue obviously is going to be strong in the post, but you've got more size than you've had to be able to at least put more bodies on it. I don't trust their guards. They're still young. They probably have gotten better, but we'll see. But they're very young last year and they got exposed. Indiana lost probably the strength of where they were.
Yep.
So I it's very favorable to them. It's very favorable to them. I think Maryland will be tough. Michigan's even lost a lot.
Michigan is another team. If they had gotten Caleb Love, I would have raised my eyebrows, but they're a post-dominated team to me right
and
now.
Losing Dickinson.
And Dickinson gone. Absolutely. First game for the Huskers is in just about a month, November 6th. They'll take on Lindenwood. That's a Monday game. That'll be BTN Plus at 7 o'clock. And then Thursday, November 9th and Monday, November 13th will be their first week of games. Exhibition season starts Sunday, October 29th against Doane. That'll be a PBA at 5 o'clock. He's Strick, the Husker Hall of Famer and the 9-year NBA vet. I'm Austin Norman. We'll step aside. When we get back, we'll talk some Husker football. What's the talent level of the team? Did we misjudge it? Did the coaches misjudge it? Are they saying one thing in front of us? Do they believe something else? I want to talk through just the general talent level on Nebraska's team. What does that look like? What does it mean? We'll do all that and more as we get into hour 2 of On the Block.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Houses? They're expensive. And once you buy one, you're kind of stuck with it for a while. You need to make sure you get your best house for the best price. You need Ben Bleicher and his team of pros at Professional Realty Group. They'll take the time to figure out what's important for you in your dream home, and they have the expertise to find the hidden issues that could surprise you after the sale. That's professional knowledge, proactive service. We call that potential. Ben Bleicher and the team at Professional Realty Group of Berkshire Hathaway's home service ambassador. Find more online at prg-ne.com. Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at gainatrucking.com.
My dream was to work in commercial banking, but it required a college degree and I didn't have one. I found out that Doane had classes for adult learners on the Lincoln campus and online. So I earned my bachelor's degree, and 5 months later, I landed my dream job. I decided to continue my education, and now I'm working on my MBA at Doane. For me, the Doane experience has been life-changing.
Drink locally and support local businesses during Lincoln's Craft Beer Week, October 2nd through the 8th. Great beer, cider, distillates, and more are made right here in Lincoln. For more info, visit lincoln.org/beer-week. Brought to you by Visit Lincoln. Remember to enjoy responsibly. Brown Shoe Fit has all types of shoes for you to excel this fall. Check out their large variety of tennis shoes and dress shoes in brands like Brooks, Hoka, Merrell, On, and many more. Browns has the local professionals to get the proper fit, aided by their high-tech foot scanner by Aetrex. Stop by Brown Shoe Fit today, just south of 66th and Q in Lincoln, or check out their options online at brownshoefitco.com.
If your car has sent you to the sidelines, Eustace Body Shop can help. With gold-class certified technicians, OEM parts, and free loaner cars, Eustace Body Shop is your best choice this Husker season. And with 6 locations across central and eastern Nebraska, we've got you covered, whether you're rooting at home or you're headed to Memorial Stadium. Get a free online quote at EustaceBodyShop.com, and let's get you back in the game.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
College football in Lincoln, America. The time has come. Start your game day off right with the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show. Join the Ticket crew as they bring you all the coverage you need to get you ready for the action. It's the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show, powered by Sunbelt Rentals. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group of BHHS Ambassador, Select Plumbing, Jimmy John's, Lincoln Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits, Fleet Feet, Bure's Cheese Spread on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is Brad with Midwest Bank, proudly serving our Nebraska communities for over 70 years. We're a community bank, making local decisions, supporting local organizations, and helping local businesses and farms succeed. We are dedicated to serving our clients and helping them meet their financial needs with sound, innovative banking solutions. From an array of checking and deposit accounts, cash management services, to small business, real estate, and ag lending. We're here for you. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank. Find out more at midwestbank.com. Member FDIC.
Guys, you've heard me tell you all about Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping, but it's not just me. Folks all over town are having success with the FXB program. Guys like Gary, who just finished up his own 10-week challenge.
Yeah, Mark. After having a knee replacement in March, I was looking for a way to get back into shape. The workouts are fun, the atmosphere is a total blast, and I've lost 17 pounds since starting in July.
The next Farrell's 10-week challenge begins on October 7th, and ticket listeners get $150 off enrollment. Just head to theticketfm.com. Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping at 40th and Yankee Hill and 70th and Vine.
Most parents have a homework schedule for the weekdays, but don't forget to cover the weekends. I'm Jenny Benson, president of the Nebraska State Education Association. A good way to avoid a problem is to set a homework schedule for the weekend. Set aside a couple hours of homework time on Saturday and help your student avoid staying up late Sunday night to finish a project. Remember, communicating with your child's teacher is vital for student success.
Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Prashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL Weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
The Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see a chance of showers and storms. Otherwise, it'll be breezy, and we'll see a high of around 82. Tonight, showers and storms appear likely. We'll see an overnight low of around 57. And tomorrow, mostly sunny skies will return. See an afternoon high of around 73. Meteorologist Kyle Puckett for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
93.7 The Ticket has moved downtown, and you're invited to join us for New Beginnings. Join us for our grand opening on Thursday, October 5th at 6 p.m. to celebrate our new space with ribbon cuttings and more. Raising Cane's will be on site to provide entertainment and prizes as we bring downtown Lincoln the newest hangout spot for its favorite radio station. It's 93.7 The Ticket's grand opening at the new 11th and O location, sponsored by Raising Cane's. Tune in throughout the week for more information on times.
This is On the Block with Strick and Austin. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland.
Strickland for three! And you're going to go out of here as the Big 8 tournament champion.
Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Brought to you by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin.
That it is. Welcome to hour 2 of On the Block. We're with you 2 to 4 weekdays here on 93.7 The Ticket. And everywhere you get 93.7 The Ticket. Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter streams are up and running for you. We have our free app for your phones, as well as Allo Channel 951 for any of you that have Allo. I highly recommend it. I use it. We use it here at the station. Really appreciate them and all they do. Allo Fiber, where they understand the importance of exceptional service with local heart. Big thanks to Jake Eisenberg, voice of the Royals, for joining us in hour number 1. Big thanks to Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul for sponsoring our show. They're back open tomorrow. Make sure you get yourself down there. And hey, here's the thing. Perfect. Grab it and go on Friday night. Just sit down with a plate of Mary Ellen's, watch the Huskers roll up a 40 burger on Illinois.
Yeah, that's
that.
The hope. That's the hope. Also, give a shout out to Sutter Heyman text line,
Yes.
Where you guys are consistently keeping us on our toes, as well as helping us in times of need. When we do call upon you, we thank you guys as well, and the Sutter Heyman text line jewelers for also giving us the line to do so. Yeah, man. That's all we can hope for at this point. I think when I speak about the talent level, I don't want to say it was overestimated
Mm-hmm.
on the talent level. I don't know if I want to say that. I do see some good things. I do see some good things out there. I think the Jeff Sims situation is one that could give you pause, because it's one of those things where you knew what it was.
Mm-hmm.
You knew what it was. So was it an overestimation on the talent, or was it an overestimation as to you being the guy who can turn it around?
Their ability to develop sort of thing. Yeah.
So my the way I look at things is I look to try to under promote and overperform.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And when you put your whole eggs into a specific basket, then I think it opens you up for some troubles. Now, at the wide receiver position, have we missed? I don't know.
In recruiting, absolutely. I mean, the number of receivers that have gone out the door in the last 5 years is astronomical.
Now let's just sit here and be real. A lot of what has transpired over the last few years, it was outside of the rules. So I can't totally place judgment on that, because coming in being fresh, it's tough to be so coach. So you've got to recruit guys that are here, or you've got to assess guys, then you've got to decide on if they're going to be the ones, and then you go out there and get some that you think you're going to hit on, and maybe they just don't hit. What I would say is Mickey Joseph was a phenomenal wide receiver recruiter. Say what you will, he was. I think that's where a lot of the talent came in. Now, is his name Garrett, right?
Yeah, Garrett McGuire.
Yeah. Can Garrett be that? We'll see.
Getting a lot of flowers for getting a couple Thunderbirds, right, in Hall and McMorris, but they're not on campus yet. They can't help yet.
Yeah.
Malachi Coleman is on the field, but it's impossible to call him a difference maker. He's not alone. I mean, he's not the only freshman wide receiver not making a difference here or across the country, but that's a position where upgrades are necessary, or just bodies, even to some degree.
Well, and that's why I say my mind just drew a blank, but the young man that we lost to Colorado.
Oh, Amarian Miller.
God.
Went off against USC.
Could we have used a young fellow like that? I mean, but guess who recruited him? Mick.
That's the other question, though. If he was at Nebraska, would he be making the same impact?
Well, we don't throw the ball.
Would we throw the ball more if we had it?
Well,
that's the chicken and the egg. That here's my biggest thing when I look at
that's
this
a good
talent.
question.
Right. My biggest thing when it comes to the talent on the roster, Strick, is it the chicken? Is it the egg? Is it the coaching staff? Is it the players? Obviously, it's both. They both need to be better. Matt Rule yesterday said there are NFL guys on this roster, NFL caliber players on this roster that need to play like it. Michigan's NFL guys played like NFL guys. Nebraska's didn't.
Who?
That's my question. Who are they? Why don't we see them? Are they being held back by the coaches? Are they not in the right schemes for their talents? Or is Matt Rule overcompensating? Is he trying to get them to believe in that by saying it in public? Because right now, Strick, I can't tell you any Nebraska player I would pick before the 6th round of the NFL draft this coming year. And yes, that's an NFL player. Yes, that's a dream accomplished. But when you look at Michigan's NFL talent, that's going rounds 1, 2, 3. Nebraska's NFL talent recently, with the exceptions of Cam Jurgens and Cam Taylor-Britt, has been essentially day 3 talent, which again is the NFL. I don't want to knock them for it, but there's a difference in the caliber of NFL talent.
That's a fact. 402-464-5685, Sutter Heyman text line. I listen without bias. Seriously. Now, if you throw some stuff out there and I see it, I'm gonna be like, come on, bro. Like, let's be real. You know what I mean? Like, tell me, as you go up and down this roster for the Nebraska Cornhusker football team, who could you see being a day 1 or a day 2? I mean, and be honest, please. 402-464-5685. We would love to hear and address that, because to be honest, I don't see it. Not at the quarterback position.
Not on the offense.
Not even at nothing on the offense.
We can forget that. I got one guy on defense right now. Quentin Newsom.
Maybe.
But that's a day 2, probably day 3.
I don't. Yeah, maybe a late day 2, but I don't know. I'm still, the jury's still yet to be out on that.
Hartzog, we'll see. They're really high on him. He's made some plays, but then you have Minnesota, seared into your brain. The safeties, Omar Brown and Deshaun Singleton, before Singleton went down, they're performing fine, but not necessarily NFL caliber or early declarations. Yep, they're ready to go. The linebackers have some decent counting stats, right? Like Reimer and Hendricks, they have some counting stats. They have some ability, but they're still struggling against some college teams. It's not always pretty on tape for those guys. Again, respect what they're doing. They're some of the heartbeats of that defense, but I think those are guys that are going to be solid to good college players, but not NFL guys. Is Ty Robinson an NFL guy? Is Nash Hutmacher an NFL guy?
Maybe
down the road.
Down the road, Nash has potential to be a good 3-4 type of guy. I like how he takes up space and he works up and through. I don't think his speed and footwork and agility is big enough And I don't think I think he's kind of like on the teeter totter. It's kind of like maybe, you might take a chance on him, but definitely not no day 1 or day 2. He might be 7.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't want to write any of these players off, right? They're still young enough.
Still time.
There's still time, to your point, that there ought to be more in most of these guys than they're showing right now. Some of that is on the player, I'm sure, right? Can you do a little bit more film work? Can you do an extra rep to get your feet a little bit better? Can you be in the weight room a little bit more? Can you recover better so you're better able to, go the next practice, the next game? I'm sure some of it's on the players, but some of it's on the coaches too. Are you connecting with your players? Is your message getting through to them? Do you know how to connect with them? Are you correctly identifying what the issue is? Are you making guys change and do things your way just because it's your way? Whereas if they're comfortable doing things a different way and they're succeeding at it, why are you trying to change them if they're making plays? I don't know what's all going on behind the scenes and in the background, but Strick, this is again where I go back to everyone has to be better. If this is a developmental staff, I really wish we would have seen more development, more early signs of it, even through just 5 games.
Yeah. I'm going to go to the Sauter Heyman text line because I do want to address this specific text from unnamed texter 5277, where he says, and just think, a week ago, all you guys talked about was how NU had a top rush defense in the country. I'm going to push back on that a little bit. I think even if you happen to be listening to me and Nick, where we address specifically where they fit as far as I think it was the get off the field rate,
stop rate.
Yeah. So I don't think that we stood there on that. We kind of alluded to it potentially smoke and mirrors and how it was going to be tested. They haven't been tested until they've got into this game. So I don't want to say that we were rah. No, I'm not going to say other people. You might have had that going on with some other folks, but I know specifically we were like, it's potentially smoke and mirrors because we now the hope was, because in the early stages before preparation for the Michigan game, Austin, I specifically said I thought it would be 41-7 Michigan. Now, as I began to look at the stats, as I began to look at the home, as I began to hope, because I was going to the game, that they were going to put on a better show and they would use that aspect of their defense to hopefully give them a chance. But if they didn't do specific things, I said it was going to be more towards what where my score was, and we're not going to be able to score, and that's what happened. So I don't know. I had a little pushback on that.
The rush defense and even the sack numbers, right? You don't want to say they're misleading because numbers are numbers. Nebraska earned every bit of its, national spot in rush defense. It did a good job against the teams on its schedule. Well, there wasn't a Michigan on the schedule before Michigan. Right. You didn't face one like that. Half of your sacks, 8 of your sacks came against Colorado. 8 of your 14 were in one game against the Colorado offensive line that we're seeing now is probably the biggest issue with that team. Again, you have to credit Nebraska for getting there. They took advantage of it. Now, not enough to win, but they boosted their numbers up. But I think we've been consistent in saying that, Strick, that you give them credit for it. They've got to prove it against better, more consistent competition. And just because the defense is better than or ahead of the offense doesn't mean it's elite.
No. Yeah, I don't think we've ever said that. Unnamed text. Well, no. Harold Sphere says Sue was a questionable player as well until Bo had a chance with him, and then he exploded. His first year was very mediocre. Yeah, and that's what we're hoping for at Nebraska. Now, again, even though you may have, and your defense may come along and they may, grow accustomed to Coach White and it starts to become good. I mean, you just look at how long that can only be sustainable. Just look across the border with Iowa. They can't do it as good as their defense is. They just continuously can't do that. So my thing is, I understand that, but this still remains. This point in college football will remain, I think, until something changes. You have to have a strong quarterback.
Always and forever.
If you don't, it doesn't matter to me how good your running back is, how good your skilled positions are. Even if you have a good running game, they can do some things scheme wise to force you to have to make decisions at the court. And if your quarterback is not solid, I mean, if he's mediocre at best and he's not solid or elite, you're not going to win games. And just look at USC. USC's defense is horrid, porous, wretched. But because they have such a great quarterback, it is able to get over a lot of those hurdles that most other teams can't get over. Just look at Utah. As good and as powerful as their run game is, physical they are, defense is, without Cam Rising and an elite quarterback, they end up coming and falling. DJ Uliangalele is having a pretty good season compared to what he had. Solid, winning games. So, I mean, you can just go up and down the spectrum and get a better understanding as to why that looks the way it looks.
Look at, Pitt football, for example. They have Kenny Pickett, who, not exactly lighting it up in the NFL, great college quarterback, Abanikanda at running back, to compliment him, but they downgrade from him to, Keaton Slovis or Phil Jerkovic, and you see the drop-off. Carolina football, got interesting when Trubisky, again, think of him what you will in the NFL, to Sam Howell, to Drake May. Quarterback boosted them up. Even Duke football.
Kentucky.
Lovis. Absolutely. Quarterback play matters.
It does.
It absolutely has to matter.
Even though it doesn't translate.
Right.
But in where you are, it matters.
I'll use the Michigan example of this, right? There wasn't a lot asked of J.J. McCarthy against Nebraska, and not in a lot of games, right? But if you're going to play a Michigan style, if you're going to play an Iowa style, a traditional, pre-this year Wisconsin style, maybe you don't need a Caleb Williams or a Drake May or a Michael Penix to be able to pull it off at that level. But your quarterback then, in those moments where you do need him to convert that 3rd and 7, or you have a false start, it's 3rd and 11, something like that, he has to be able to make those throws in those big moments. Even if you're not asking him to throw it 50 times, the 15 that he does throw, he has to be good at it. He has to be able to deliver.
Yeah.
And that's where I think 4491 is saying, in the Big Ten West, you don't even need a good quarterback to win the division. You don't need a quarterback you need a good quarterback. You just don't need a quarterback to carry your team.
But guess what? Aiden O'Connell took a very mediocre Purdue team and took them to head the division, to the top of the division in the West. But look, unnamed texter 4332. No, listen, we're not writing the team off.
Far from it.
Saying that smoke and mirror. No, what we were saying is they hadn't been tested, and this was going to be their biggest test. We still think there's possibilities for the goodness of what they are to continue to shine through. We're not saying or writing them off. So please don't think that's what we're saying. We're saying that was going to be the thing that shows you if it's real or if it's not. And it's not at this point that it doesn't work in the West. It's just not at a level to where they can basically compete at the highest levels of college football. And if they can't do it in the West against some of the best of the East, then they're going to struggle. May make a bowl game. I think they're good enough to win games in the West to make a bowl game. I'm not writing that part of it off. But if it falls any lower, you're going to still kind of be tested in Illinois because they're going to try you there. Maryland's going to try your 3-3-5 in a passing area with some run, not as much. But who else? Wisconsin's going to test you. So you're going to get a couple more tests, and then we'll see. We're not writing it off, though.
I'll say it this way. Michigan was a measuring stick game to some degree, because if the numbers were real through the first 4 games, if there was positive development from players, you would have liked to have seen it against Michigan. Maybe it doesn't result in a win. Maybe not everyone still plays well, but you can at least look at it and say, hey, this guy played well against the best competition on the schedule. This aspect of our team has taken a noticeable step forward because why? They made Michigan work for it. They made it tougher than it normally was for Michigan. What we saw, Strick, was a letdown in every capacity, every facet of the game. Matt Rule, Marcus Satterfield, Tony White, the head coach and the 2 coordinators have spoken the last 2 days. Each one of them has said that.
Yeah.
You would have liked to have seen signs of that development now, right? We're not saying, oh, you lost to Michigan, season's over. Far from it. We get it. Michigan's good. They played the best game they have all year, in my opinion. Credit to them. Michigan came out and did the darn thing. My point is, if there was development across the board or more development that we wouldn't have to be asking the question, has there been any development? It would have shown up to some degree against Michigan, and it didn't.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. Unnamed texter 0022 says, I get so sick of talking about quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers. It has to start with the line. Nobody's disagreeing with that. The line is bad. And I get disappointed when they're talking about, the Nebraska line, they've been together and they're still bad. So I agree with you on that. That should be the most of of what the talk should be about, how bad NU is up front. Now, I've got pushback on that. And here's why. Colorado almost beat one of the best teams in the country with a more horrible line than Nebraska has. We sacked them more than they came even in the realm of sacking us. That's how bad their line is. And yet it's still because of what? A great quarterback. And because of what? One wide receiver that should have been at Nebraska. And because of what?
Two other transfer portal guys.
So I don't want to hear that. You can still, with skilled position players, you can still compete at a level. I don't buy into that one. Good point though, because I agree with you. I think the offensive line is key, especially when you're talking about Big Ten football. It's definitely that. Yeah. But no, I don't. No, you missed me with that one.
This text absolutely cracks me up because it's exactly where we started the segment. Fred Nutt Hoiberg says they still have the potential. They just haven't lived up to where they can be. Why not? Is it just because they've only had 5 games with this staff? Well, guess what? They had all spring to get better. They had all summer to get in the weight room and get in shape. They had all of fall camp to prove it. And they had plenty of measuring stick games, right? 4 games to start the year off. You could have proven something. You haven't yet. Now, 5 games, 1 off season with this staff is less than the 3, 2, 1, 4 that they had with the previous staff. It's probably hard to undo some of that they learned, right? And it's not all going to happen all overnight. But my point, again, overall, is either the talent is here or it's not here.
Facts.
Either the guys are good enough or they're not. Okay, if the guys are good enough, why aren't we seeing more? Why aren't we seeing them take a step forward under a staff that prides itself on development? If the guys aren't good enough, if the talent level isn't there, then there's only so much this coaching staff can do in their development. The ceiling is just naturally lower if the physical talent, ability, mental capacity, whatever, isn't there. We still don't know if it's the talent or the coaching.
Yeah.
We have no idea.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, I don't know what else. You guys are great. There's a lot we could get to, but unfortunately we can't hit all of them. We need help. We do. I think we just need to continue to get better, or we need to develop better. And like I said, we can't assess that in 5 games. We're going to have to look as we get a little bit more down the road in some of these other because really, if you look at the schedule right now, the next 4 games are toss-ups.
Yeah.
It really is to me. If you play your best and you're able at the line to move people, I told you, if we did not average 4, 3.5, no, actually 4.5 to 4.5 yards per carry against Michigan, we're not winning. So that model still stands for me. I have a benchmark. What's yours? What's your benchmark of success? Mine is they must dominate the line in the run game because you're not really passing the ball. But in order to pass the ball to the strengths of what your quarterbacks are, you must run the ball. And it's got to be at that 4 to 5. You must be in short chain situations. Defensively, you've got to hold teams. If you're going to allow teams to get 200 yards rushing, you're not going to win. If you're Nebraska, it opens up the playbook too much. It gives too much space in the secondary because now linebackers probably have to press up more. You may have to bring another guy down in the box. You got to do a little bit more things to alleviate the run because the run is going to establish. Did we win that as far as the time The 3 hours and 5 minutes under.
Oh yeah, it hit under. It hit under. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I need to get on Nick about that.
Yeah, we
need a bonus dog on it. But yeah, but that's what I'm talking about, man. There's still some things to see, but these next 4 games is going to tell you a lot about where you are and what needs to be done.
Man named Ashley says, why is Nebraska's line bad? Most of these guys were pretty highly ranked on the recruiting services. Are we not developing anyone? That's the question. Was it a miss in evaluation? Did you think you saw something in these guys? Turns out they actually don't have it at the college level. Or was it a development miss? Plenty of other schools had eyes on these guys, had offers out to these guys. They chose Nebraska, and has Nebraska let them down by not developing them to their fullest? It's probably a little bit of both. You know, the coaches have to take ownership of it, of their role in getting their players better. But Strick, you would know as a player, you want control over your own career. You want to have it in your hands to push yourself to get better too. Everyone's at fault. Everyone has to be better.
Yeah. Yeah. It's an interesting thing to think about. Glad the sun's coming up. It's changing the sorrow and the dreary of my day as far as talking about this stuff, because I'm not trying to put the program down in any form. I want success here at Nebraska in all forms throughout the whole program.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I've got to be real about things too, man. I think all of us can say in some form or fashion, we've drank Kool-Aid over the last 3 regimes.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, the coach speak got to us, and the conversations on the podium were all fine and dandy, and it looked like all chutes and ladders in Candyland. But at the same time, we've got to be real about it now, because we're at this point, and I personally, unless I see something different, I think we're 2 to 3 years behind. So I'm just going to continue to ask the question: how much patience do you have? That's the question I'm done. How much do you have? Do you, as a listener, or you as a supporter or a fan, do you have 2 to 3 years to wait in a mediocre state? 6-6 is your boundary at this point, right?
Mm-hmm. I think that's
what
fair.
if you come in at 3 and 9? How you feel about that? After on the verge of breaking through last year,
mm-hmm.
with the turmoil that you had to deal with, you still almost broke through with that team that you had. A lot of these guys are back. Some brought in new. But at the same time, how much patience do you have for the outcome?
Let us know. What are those numbers for him, Strick?
6-6. As far as 6-6 is the boundary number.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe we're 2 to 3 years behind. If you think I'm wrong, tell me then where and what area on the football team is going to get us there based on what we're seeing. I don't think it can totally be relying on the defense. I just don't think we're elite on the defense yet. Now, if you make some additions, you get you a Chase, what's my guy with the Commanders?
Chase Young.
You get you a Chase Young in here. You get you a new Indomitian Sue. You find you a Patrick Surtain, you know what I'm saying?
And preferably one of each.
Give me now I might be able to say, well, shoot, the defense might be able to do something. But when I see them doing Barney in the running, you love me, let me hold you and tackle thee. No, strip the freaking ball. Get in there, dig it out. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it was like, okay, we're just going to lay you down here. No, get in that thing. You've got to figure out ways to create opportunities. And I don't know. I don't see it from us, to be honest.
Not yet.
Not yet.
402-464-5685. Keep your thoughts coming. We were going to talk some NFL. We might just keep the Husker conversation rolling. Let us know your thoughts on Husker football, 402-464-5685. Or if you're on the stream, you can drop a comment there. We'll see it and get to it as we continue on the block after this.
Drink locally and support local businesses during Lincoln's Craft Beer Week, October 2nd through the 8th. Great beer, cider, distillates, and more are made right here in Lincoln. For more info, visit lincoln.org/beer-week. Brought to you by Visit Lincoln. Remember to enjoy responsibly.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you Go Big Red!
You're counting on your team to win, so why not prove it? By placing your bets at Warhorse Sportsbook. Their win is your win. Put your money where your mouth is on nearly every sporting event. Use the Warhorse app to check odds and build your bets before placing your wagers in person at Warhorse Casino, including live in-game betting. No bets, no glory. Wagers may only be placed on Nebraska-based teams when played outside the state of Nebraska. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Gambling problem? Call 1-833-BET-OVER.
Attention all Wings fans. 89-cent wings are back on Tuesdays at Buffalo Wings and Rings in Lincoln. Enjoy the best wings in town for boneless or traditional at a price that makes the whole family happy. And now at the Williamsburg Village Wings and Rings, you can enjoy $1.50 tall boys in Bud Light, Coors Light, Busch Light, and Michelob Ultra every day after 7 p.m. and all day on Sundays. Get to Wings and Rings today and make sure to stop by on Tuesdays for 89-cent wings.
Hi everyone, Kendall Warnock with A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. If you're looking for an automotive repair facility you can genuinely trust, we would be grateful for the opportunity to earn your business repairing your vehicle. We have ASE master technicians and qualified to work on a variety of vehicles from Hondas to Porsches, Jaguars to Toyotas, and Chevrolets to Fords. We pride ourselves on customer service and relationships, and we would be grateful for the opportunity to serve you. Give us a call at 402-477-4660. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
Is this you? You feel the same way every day, and it's not good. You may think there's a magic pill that can fix you. There isn't. Limitless Male has found that the majority of men who admit they feel bad are suffering with low testosterone, which can cause these symptoms: low energy, brain fog, belly fat, muscle loss, low libido. Sound familiar? Get your testosterone checked at Limitless Male. Your first consult is free. Insurance accepted.
College football in Lincoln, America. The time has come. Start your game day off right with the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show. Join the ticket crew as they bring you all the coverage you need to get you ready for the action. It's the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show, powered by Sunbelt Rentals. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group of BHHS Ambassador, Select Plumbing, Jimmy John's, Lincoln Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits, Fleet Feet, Yours Cheese Spread on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just a professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, our passion. For happier, healthier furry friends.
Plains Cover Crop is your one-stop seed shop. Call us now for spring and summer forages, CRP mixes, and fall cover crop blends. We do farm-specific consulting for practical and efficient seed blends to fit your geography and goals. With a very diverse inventory, we will tailor a blend just for you. We're also looking for contract growers, and we buy and sell rye. Find us online at plainscovercrop.com. Timeless agronomy practices paired with modern technology. East Highway 20 in Orchard and across Nebraska.
Experience the Landmark difference with the next level of dealer support. Landmark, your local John Deere dealer, continually works to have parts on hand the first time you walk in the door. Our internal route system means we can get the parts to you typically same or next day to keep you up and running. At Landmark, we understand time is money. Get more uptime with our after-hours parts and service support on the phone or in the field. Our sales, precision ag, parts, and service teams are ready to serve you this planting season. Stop by your local Landmark today to experience the Landmark difference.
93.7 The Ticket has moved downtown, and you're invited to join us for new beginnings. Join us for our grand opening on Thursday, October 5th at 6 p.m. to celebrate our new space with ribbon cuttings and more. Raising Cane's will be on site to provide entertainment and prizes as we bring downtown Lincoln the newest hangout spot for its favorite radio station. It's 93.7 The Ticket's grand opening at the new 11th and O location, sponsored by Raising Cane's. Tune in throughout the week for more information on times.
Looking for a convenient place to get that big fitness energy? It's Planet Fitness.
Now through October 13th, you can join for just $1 down, $10 a month. We've got over 2,400 locations with most open 24 hours. Join now to enjoy free fitness training and equipment for every workout. Whether you're new to a gym or a fitness pro, the Judgment-Free Zone is the place for you. Join Planet Fitness today for $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment. Cancel anytime. Deal ends October 13th. See Home Club for details.
Most parents have a homework schedule for the weekdays, but don't forget to cover the weekends. I'm Jenny Benson, president of the Nebraska State Education Association. A good way to avoid a problem is to set a homework schedule for the weekend. Set aside a couple hours of homework time on Saturday and help your student avoid staying up late Sunday night to finish a project. Remember, communicating with your child's teacher is vital for student success.
Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Oh boy.
Son.
That is not how I saw that break going at all.
Wow. The shenanigans that go on off air is just absolutely unbelievable. You can't just drop that on me like that.
Out of nowhere.
You guys don't know what we're talking about.
DP's a big wrestling guy, so that's an RKO out of nowhere.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that was what is it called? The Austin, whatever.
The Stone Cold Stunner?
Stone Cold Stunner. That was a Stone Cold Stunner. So basically what they did, guys, there's the hot wing challenge that everybody is pretty much done. And so
that AG's doing tonight.
So they dropped it. They tried to drop it on us at the last moment. That's stuff you got to prepare your mind for. You can't just come in and drop it on you and then I got to eat with my mouth on fire trying to go to dinner. That's not going to work. Let me get my mind right for that. You know? Okay, back to the
That's fair. So that's in the works. It is still probably happening at some point. What's also happening, we should also be sure to point this out. 2 days on Thursday, right after Old School, 6 o'clock, grand opening right here, northwest corner of 11th and O Street. Come see us. So many great sponsors going to be in the building. Mary Ellen's, I believe, going to be a part of it. Raising Cane's, The Still, The Mill. Everyone that's anybody is going to be here supporting the ticket. We appreciate that. We would love to see you. Come down at any point that night. I think we'll have shows going on in the background. Meet some of your favorite ticket personalities. See the space. Hang out in the space. It's going to be a wonderful opportunity down here at 1040 O Street. Again, 6 o'clock on Thursday. Let's do this too. If you show up before 6, bring a lawn chair. Bring a folding chair. Park it right outside the window on the sidewalk. We'll have a fan cam set up. If you want to be here, if you want to get here early, you want to kind of tailgate the grand opening, Stricky and I will shout you out during On the Block. DP and Jay will be on for Old School from 4 to 6 after that. We'd love to have a good time with it, so make sure you come on down. Back to the discussion we were having before, Strick, on what are the numbers? What's the expectation for Husker football? Isaac says in 3 years, he's kind of with you with the 2 to 3 years backwards. He says 5-7 in this
2026.
season. But by 2026, his patience will be out if Nebraska's only 6-6. I think that's fair.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a fair assessment. I mean, this is what sometimes can be a little bit frustrating because, like, for example, Eric Case says, come on, guys, 5 games in and you're complaining the cupboard is bare. We're dealing with injuries, back off a little bit. That's part of the problem that we have here because we backed off for the last 10 years and we keep saying back off a little bit. Oh, they're coming. And so, no, I'm not even looking at it from that standpoint. I'm just being realistic about where we are.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if I can't be realistic about where it is, I wish and hope they go 8-5. I think it's still possible. I'm saying the next 4 games is going to tell you a lot about where that trajectory is going to be. Nobody is down. I mean, I'm not down on them. I'm just telling you what I see. You know what I mean? About the assessment of where the line is, where they need to get better, I'm just telling you what I see. If okay, then if Eric Case is listening, then tell me, my friend, how long are you going to wait for them to get the talent in here? How long are you cool with in this 8-year contract, which will be 7 more years? Tell me, good sir, how long are you willing to wait for the talent to get in here when it seems to me that other teams are going and getting talent and turning the things around? I've always said, I think Deion Sanders is on a F-16 route. Potentially. Not that he is, but potentially, because he has quarterback, running backs, wide receivers, skill positions sewed up. Defense sucks. Line sucks. Both sides, but still can win games. Okay. I think they're going to get talent to fill those holes very soon. I don't think it's going to take 3 years to do it. I think they're going to fill specific holes very soon. Okay. I've always said Nebraska is like a 747, a 737.
Big ol'
I
Airbus.
still think they can get there. I just think you're looking at 2 different potential trajectories. One has the ability to go supersonic and go vertical very quickly. The other has the ability, to me, to still get vertical at the same height altitude as the other one does. It just may take a little bit longer. I've always said that. So I'm not saying, hey, they stink because they didn't get there this year. I've never said that. I've always said I believe it's the time that's going to take to get there. But I'm saying to you, how long? How long are you willing to wait?
Eric says also he's in it for the long haul. I believe in Matt Rule. Matt Rule was my first choice for the next head coach of Nebraska football. He was. As I put together the list of candidates, he was tops on my list. He still is. I have no reason to say that it won't work eventually.
Facts.
But I'm not going to lie. I expected a little more than what we've seen this year. You lose to Minnesota, you lose to Colorado. Okay, you can talk me into losing at Minnesota. I predicted that before the year. Credit Deion and Colorado for being better, or at least better prepared than Nebraska was to some degree. Northern Illinois, you looked okay. You looked solid, but nothing special. That's a team that was worse than I thought they were going to be. Louisiana Tech was very blasé. In Michigan, we all witnessed it. We've given our thoughts on that. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more. Even if the record is 2-3, I would have thought we would have had some more standout performances. We would have had guys that we can say building block, cornerstone, heartbeat, leader for the next great Nebraska team. We didn't mention Cam Lenhart in the NFL draft conversation. That's a young guy who's flashed early on in his career, banged up right now. Hope he gets back on the field soon. I like Cam Lenhart. That's a great job of getting him back in the fold, right, Strick? He wasn't originally one of their recruits. He was committed to the previous staff. He decommitted. This staff brought him back into the fold, and he's been solid through a couple games. Solid is fine as a freshman. But where's the growth from sophomores to juniors, from juniors to seniors, from seniors that come back for their next year? I wish, even though we're only 5 games into this tenure, 5 games is 1 game shy of half a season. After Friday, Strick, we're halfway through the season. Year 1.
Yeah.
You can't get those games back. Half the season's behind you, but that means the other half is in front. Okay, I'll give you a little bit of a pass for these first 6 games. Injuries, they happen. Okay, whatever. Human elements take some guys longer to quote unquote get it than other guys. I'm willing to make those concessions if we start seeing more light bulbs come on later in October into November. And then not only that, Strick, you come out like gangbusters to start next year with guys saying, I'm here, I'm a leader, I am dependable, I change games.
And
not going rogue,
right.
I'm in the scheme, but I make plays inside the concept of the team that elevate the team.
Well, just to put another piece on what you were saying, for me, it's like it's this, because it's not disappointing. It's understandable, but it's part of why there may be some concern is because you came in saying we are going to develop, take guys and make them better. And that's where we're just not seeing that part of it yet. It's okay. That's where then, Austin, your last statement kicks in for me, is then by the end of the year, we hope to be able to get that click moment. And then by next year, then what's the excuse? So what if it comes out next year and you start off in a similar manner? How are you going to feel about it? I'm not saying that's the case. I just want to know what you think. Or are you going to continue to be saying the same thing? Oh, well, it's only a year two, and yeah, they've got injuries, and well, the line still is trying to get better. I mean, what excuse are you going to make as we continue to go down this line? When are you going to say that the turnaround is in motion? You know, right. when the trajectory is heading in the right direction. When is that for you? What do you need to see for it to be that? Is it defense at a certain, ranking? I don't know. I don't know what the benchmark is for you. I know what it is for me, but I don't know what it is for you.
Let us know. Text line 402-464-5685. We're going to throw it to break. We'll probably cross it over with DPs in the building, Jay, if he gets here. But, Strike, there's a question for you that I want you to answer when we get back next segment from Swift in Lincoln. A little bit unsure of what you mean by 2 to 3 years behind when Matt Rule said this was a rebuild. I'll ask you that question. We'll get your response as we get back to On the Block next.
It's not often a man wakes up and says, I feel the best I have in years. We hear this all the time at Limitless Mail, and it can happen to you when you go to Limitless Mail and get a blood test to see what your body is missing. That's how simple it is. Schedule a free consult with Limitless Mail. Discuss your symptoms. Do the blood test. If your lab results say you're low in testosterone, we can fix that. Age is just a number. You can feel your best again. Just ask Limitless Mail.
You're counting on your team to win, so why not prove it? By placing your bets at Warhorse Sportsbook. Their win is your win. Put your money where your mouth is on nearly every sporting event. Use the Warhorse app to check odds and build your bets before placing your wagers in person at Warhorse Casino, including live in-game betting. No bets, no glory. Wagers may only be placed on Nebraska-based teams when played outside the state of Nebraska. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Gambling problem? Call 1-833-BET-OVER.
Whether you're booking a trip to Lincoln for a football game or a volleyball weekend, the Scarlet Hotel at Innovation Campus is the place for you. The Scarlet Hotel is special on many levels, from the delicious Well and Good restaurant on the main floor to the coolest rooftop patio bar in Lincoln, the Barred Owl, on the top floor of the hotel with great views of the city and one of the coolest drink menus. Book your stay or book a staycation today at scarlethotelnebraska.com.
You had to know that when Wingstop set out to make a crispy, juicy chicken sandwich, they wouldn't make it in just one flavor. They'd make it in all 12, like lemon pepper, mango habanero, hickory smoked barbecue, and OG hot. So why have one new favorite chicken sandwich when you can have 12? Try the new sauced and tossed Wingstop chicken sandwich today for only $5.49 at Wingstop, where flavor gets its wings. Valid for a limited time and available at participating Wingstop locations only while supplies last. Price subject to applicable taxes and fees.
Most parents have a homework schedule for the weekdays, but don't forget to cover the weekends. I'm Jenny Benson, president of the Nebraska State Education Association. A good way to avoid a problem is to set a homework schedule for the weekend. Set aside a couple hours of homework time on Saturday and help your student avoid staying up late Sunday night to finish a project. Remember, communicating with your child's teacher is vital for student success.
Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Are you looking for a night of epic fun without breaking the bank? Look no further than Sun Valley Lanes and Games. Join us for our late night special every Sunday through Thursday night and enjoy nonstop action with our Unlimited Fun promotion. Unlimited Fun includes everything you need for an unforgettable night out. Unlimited bowling, unlimited laser tag, and unlimited lucky putt mini golf. Show a valid college or military ID at check-in and get $2 off your admission. Visit the daily rates page at sunvalleylanes.com for complete details.
Sun Valley.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Experience the Landmark difference with the next level of dealer support. Landmark, your local John Deere dealer, continually works to have parts on hand the first time you walk in the door. Our internal route system means we can get the parts to you typically same or next day to keep you up and running. At Landmark, we understand time is money. Get more uptime with our after-hours parts and service support on the phone or in the field. Our sales, precision ag, parts, and service teams are ready to serve you this planting season. Stop by your local Landmark today to experience the Landmark difference.
If your car has sent you to the sidelines, Eustace Body Shop can help. With gold-class certified technicians, OEM parts, and free loaner cars, Eustace Body Shop is your best choice this Husker season. And with 6 locations across central and eastern Nebraska, we've got you covered, whether you're rooting at home or you're headed to Memorial Stadium. Get a free online quote at EustaceBodyShop.com, and let's get you back in the game.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
College football in Lincoln, America. The time has come. Start your game day off right with the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show. Join the ticket crew as they bring you all the coverage you need to get you ready for the action. It's the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show, powered by Sunbelt Rentals. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group of BHHS Ambassador, Select Plumbing, Jimmy John's, Lincoln Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits, Fleet Feet, Bure's Cheese Spread on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're here on the block. Austin Norman and Eric Strickland been with you for the last couple hours. Joined now by Jay Foreman. Jay, welcome in. How you doing?
What's happening? Sunlight came out after the little rain.
Finally.
Oh, yeah. It was like Seattle or the Midwest today.
How long is Nebraska football from seeing the sunlight after the rain?
Hopefully it's Friday night. Hopefully it's Friday night. They still got a lot of opportunity to kind of turn things around, or just play up to the capabilities that they would like or expect. So, all isn't lost. I think, the Michigan game was going to be an uphill battle, climbing up the side of a mountain and it's muddy. And so you knew that before the season. I think the thing that was probably, I was like, we said it all the time, the most disappointing is how you guys went about your business.
Mm-hmm.
And it's weird because you hadn't been going about your business like that. And I always say that, like, the Minnesota game was I wouldn't say it was a curse, but it was like, oh, okay, well, they're out here competing. This is they did things that they hadn't done last year, or at least over time, right? Dookie down their leg right before halftime. You very easily could have just snowballed. You come right out of halftime, which is like 10 minutes, and you get a huge return. You had a little kind of backyard football play, but the play was open, right? So there is no.
Wasn't pretty, but it worked.
The play was all Jeff Sims had to do was catch it. He would have had the same result. So you do that. That's something that hadn't been done to bounce back, right? And then, you kind of showed a little bit of old habits. You lose that game, and so forth and so on. But I think this game was a wake up call based on. I always said this: how they deal with success, sleepwalking and still winning without a I call it, like everybody says, a dog mentality. I want some wolves. Okay, I want that wolf. And you gotta have that dog in you. But see, them wolves though, like the pack of wolves, and then you got a couple lead wolves that they go for the juggler, and everybody else take the legs off, and then we all eat. So if you don't have a team with that intrinsic in him, right, in them, that and I call it internally motivated, prideful motivated. You could say cocky or boisterous, right? Like if I was Jeff Sims, okay, I'm about to show you. Okay, I'm just like, I'm going to show everybody right here who I really am, or anybody like that.
Right. That's what I said yesterday.
Yeah,
I said when Coach Rule, if Coach Rule would have come to me, someone like me, I mean, I can't speak for nobody else. But if he would have came to me and he would have said, man, you're not getting the job done. You're not doing what we've called you to do. You're out of position. I've been like, you know what, Coach, you're absolutely right.
or I would have said nothing. I'd have been like, okay. Because that's what's bred in me. Everybody told me I would not play in the NBA.
Right.
Even my coach, Coach Danny Nee, didn't believe it. Coach Danny Nee comes into me and sits me down in his office and says, this is why I'm saying this is in me. What I would have looked at Coach Rule. I'm just telling you the innateness about me personally and what you're talking about. Coach Nee comes in and sits down and is like, yeah, we'll look to get you an agent and, get you overseas and, get you a good basketball career. I'm looking at him like, I ain't say nothing.
Danny Nee or Eric Musselman?
No, him too. I'm like, Danny Nee. I just looked at him. I was like, oh, okay.
Right.
Knowing that, I'm going to show you.
Everybody has
You know
that.
what I'm saying?
I mean, people doubted Michael Jordan. People doubted me. I mean, Craig, I remember that. Hey, man, I think I just led the league in tackles or something. I think I did like my second or third year, maybe to led Buffalo. He was like, he came out, gave me this backhanded compliment. Like, geez, Jay. He's like, you're having a nice NFL career. That kind of like surprises you. I told then by that point, I was like, man, F you.
Yeah.
Bounce.
I mean, but that's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
In essence, that's all we're saying. So, for example, like on the stream, Chad's Life says the ticket is becoming a Nebraska hater channel. How? I love this place
too much.
More than anybody.
Right.
I want it to win more than anybody. I take the bruisings and the beating. When I wear my Nebraska stuff, when I go back to Texas and all that, Huskers, all this stuff. But no, I want them to succeed more than anybody. And well, I know you guys do too. But here's the thing. I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat and put some doggone icing on your cake, knowing that your cake is terrible.
What if we said that's unfair?
Huh?
What's unfair?
Yeah, that's my question for the text line. Or Chad, what if we said that's unfair?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think anything is wrong with the truth, because I think the one thing, at least talking with Strick and listening to you, I can vouch for vouch for Strick. And I can't speak for, everybody, but I can vouch for Strick, is that we can be, I guess, quote unquote critical, but then there's always a solution.
But you're not bashing just to bash.
Right. But at the end of the day, you can say we need to get better at not giving up direct access plays. That is factual.
Right.
Okay. They have, to be honest with you, the line has gotten better at some things. They need to get better at the complete whiffs or the complete
getting into the hole and missing, running to air. Like run to bodies.
Right. Yeah. Get on. They're doing, and in some ways they're doing some things a lot better that they have. And I felt like they did. It's kind of like last year, but I think they've taken a small step forward. Now they just got to get the little things into it. I don't view it as Nebraska haters because we want them to win, but ultimately you shouldn't tune in to somebody that sit there and tell you that they played well against Michigan. You shouldn't.
I love you.
No, I mean, because you should be. Well, then you would. If somebody tells you that they played up to their capabilities against Michigan,
you would tune out.
Well, you should.
It's a lie,
and they're lying to you.
Yeah,
and then
or they're telling the truth, and that's equally scary.
Yeah, but that nobody. Because here's why it's not even fact. Because the coaches didn't tell you that either. It's not like Matt Rule said that. Well, they played great. He said that's not good enough. Tony White said it, I think, today. It's not good enough.
Tony White was nails today.
Right. So, I mean, it's all about what you want to hear. I think a lot of times people view, like, if you're not, and you have to be conscientious of it. They do have some injury issues. They had a receiver that they were dependent on that quit at the, let's just say the 23rd hour.
Yeah.
They had IGC that unfortunately hurt his knee. Those things happen, but they didn't go. If I can guarantee you, they felt like they could trust Betts enough that he wasn't going to tap out again. But you just never know, right? Mm-hmm. Now, could you blame the coaches a little bit I'm a firm believer, if you have that quitting gene in you, it's until I see you get through a whole season, it's not out your system. Okay, fine. You could say but they're trying to give everybody a chance. They're coming in saying, if you do A through Z, we're going to give you a fair chance. That's what they did. They said, dude, you got to go back, get your grades up. He went and did 20 some hours.
21 hours. So that's 7 classes.
So they only could make the decision that they could make at that time with the information that they had.
Yeah.
Should they might possibly maybe sign a freshman quarterback or get another guy out of the portal? Sure. but nobody had no forecast. They never forecasted the amount of turnovers in those 2 games, and at the timing of it as well. Granted, those turnovers are never good, but the timing was obviously the inept time. So I'm not going to bat for them, but I'm also seeing the other side. So what they just have to do is continue to push. And this time, at this point, with 7 games left, I think 8 weeks in the season, because they got to bye, it's time to push harder.
Yeah.
Coaches
Harder.
and players.
Yeah.
Players, and especially the players.
Yeah. Everybody in some
I'm
form
available
or
for
fashion, as you're saying, got to look at each other internally and how can I get better? Harburg maybe needs to just continuously work on accuracy.
Footwork.
Yeah. Just different things that each person can figure out.
For them, even though they're in a bye week, and I think they only can practice 3 times. Now, granted, you should maybe take the weekend off, but you play Friday. Okay, so you're not playing for a while there. Listen, this isn't time to be popping up and you're down in, Texas or in my case, Minnesota. No. You're in football season. If you want to rest, you still can put in work during the day, right? Get caught up in school, but you still, every single day, it needs to be something with football. Training, studying, recovery, and all that stuff.
What's coming up on Old School?
We're gonna do some Big Ten rankings. We're gonna do. We're gonna talk who needs more of a lifeline, the Nebraska offense or the special teams. Because I think that special teams is kind of skated in the back door. But I think that when you saw that big return, it's some glaring stuff. And then we'll do a little NBA preseason rankings because now all the pieces besides James Harden, who's on his way to Colorado, are placed. I don't think he factors into my rankings. We're going to go top 8 to 10 teams.
There you go. Stay tuned for that DP&J on Old School. Strick, talk to you Wednesday.
See you Wednesday, my boy.
Bet on the block.
Well, Thursday.
Yes. Thursday. That's when I'll be back. But Old School DP&J comes your way here in just a minute.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just the professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, our passion. For happier, healthier furry friends.
Is your backyard ready for fun with friends and family this fall? GE Landscape Supply has pavers and boulders, which are a great accent for any landscaping project. And you can find them at 6701 Cornhusker Highway. GE Landscape Supply sells to homeowners and contractors with a vast selection of landscaping and construction materials. And don't forget, they deliver anywhere, nearby or far away. Stop by at 6701 Cornhusker Highway from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday to Friday. Go to gelandscapesupply.com for more info or call 402-467-1627.
Hey guys, Jake Sorensen here from Early Break. The garage door at our house has been needing replacement for a couple years, and a few months ago, we finally did something about it. Steve's Garage Doors and Services was great through the whole process in providing options and also going to the next level to get a door that was approved by our HOA. And best of all, the removal of the old door and installation of the new door was done smoothly with no issues. Call Steve's Garage Doors and Services today at 402-480-9462.
Ever wish you had another light switch on the other side of the room on a dark night? How much better would you sleep at night if you had a ceiling fan in your room? The High Electric Service Department is here to make your electrical what-ifs a reality. Whether you're looking to replace some outdated light fixtures or brighten up your counters with under-cabinet lighting, High Electric can handle all types of